I'm pretty new to this little group on the podcast here, so I wasn't part of the whole Dexter thing. What in the world made you choose Dexter as the show you were going to do that with?
Oh, well,
Great question for Dale.
That's a great question that may or may not make the edit of this episode. But Brooke and I watched the 7th and 8th season. We kind of caught up. We went to high school together. And she was like the only person I saw on Facebook that was actively writing like Facebook posts about like, oh, I can't believe Dexter's back, I can't wait, kind of thing, when season 7 was starting, and it's my show, it's my thing. And so we were watching it together, and it's just dreadful. The last season especially is just horrible. And the idea behind it went like this. I was thinking about doing a video essay on Dexter about where the show went wrong, like what point was the point of no return for the show. And so I bought the whole series on Blu-ray, and I watched through it all, and I realized it was doomed from the first episode. I realized that they'd already fucked it up in the first episode. And so I thought that was really interesting. And then Brooke was interested in doing it, and Aaron was down for it, and Zach had never seen the show all the way through before, so we just went for it, and we watched the 4 good seasons, and we watched the 4 not so good seasons, and
you found 3 people you don't like to force to rewatch Dexter.
It's kind of my thing.
When you get your Buffy the Vampire Slayer one going, I'll join that one.
Aaron and I have both said the same thing, so...
But does Buffy like have a like dramatic quality problem somewhere? Because I don't think it does.
It definitely suffers from being an old show and not having the good sense to be modern in the way we listen and watch shows now. So it definitely reeks of that quite a bit, but at the same time there's so many great things about it. So it's kind of it's an interesting show in that it's bad in a lot of ways if you were to try to judge it today, but at the time it was so innovative.
I just remember like when it got to where they were in college, I was just sort of done with it, and I watched the rest of it, but it was like, this is a show that's being made because they can keep making the show and not because they have a lot of great ideas left anymore, kind of thing. But the thing with Dexter is that it started out, and the reason it went 8 seasons is because the writers wanted to stop it after season 6, and Showtime, it was Showtime's number 1 show, and they made him stay for another 2 years. So it's this crazy, like, it went from being the prestige show for Showtime to having the worst finale of all time. And it's like universally accepted as the worst finale of all time. And so that's the fascinating aspect of it for me. Like, I would gladly watch, there's lots of shows that I would gladly watch over again and do podcast episodes about. Buffy may or may not be one of them. It's just kind of, like I said, I kind of lose interest at some point in that show. For me, it would be like The Shield. I could watch The Shield like nonstop all the time, the way people watch The Office and Scrubs and stuff like that. Love that show. And I'm kind of the same way about House, except the first 3 seasons are kind of rough to get through now that they're all kind of the same. So,
not that we need another Game of Thrones podcast, but I think for controversy's sake, Dale, that would be one that you would do.
That's a good suggestion, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Which I would do because Dale and I are split on that. I loved the finale and last season of Game of Thrones, and Dale thinks it's a hot pile of trash.
But you're a unicorn. Like, that's... Yeah. There are very few people that think that Game of Thrones...
There's 2 unicorns on this podcast then, Dale.
What's that?
Aha!
Meanwhile, I'm just like, I just thought it was okay, so I just neutral.
You liked season 8?
Yeah, actually, I really did. There were challenges with it for sure, but that doesn't mean it wasn't good.
Do not make me referee this fight again.
I'm not fighting. I'm just I'm just
You
astonished.
just know they're wrong.
He's
I
shocked.
found two of you. It's crazy.
You might actually be in the minority.
No, most of the internet agrees with Dale, I think, but
Most of the internet agrees with me.
I found a few
For
people that
sure.
have enjoyed it. Yeah.
Most of the cast agrees with me. So, but yeah, that's sort of the